Jake. Running back. Hey,
Jake, Tommy Fury.
What's good, son?
Listen, you need to stop running, my friend, and let's get it on.
What's going on? Chill out. I wish it were him. Hey,
what's going on here?
What's going on?
Tommy, be careful. Do you want to keep running or do you want to take the fight?
Hey, well, you can barely be my sparring partner.
Listen, you could be a guy who's never had a boxing fight. That guy never had a boxing fight. Get the fuck out of here. Take the fight. 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 Take the fight.
Bro, you just went 4 rounds with what the f*** you talking about?
Tommy, you suck, bro.
Come on.
Tommy, step up.
What's good, family? Smash the like button and subscribe. Oh, your man's Tommy. Oh, Fury, scary looking ass. Now, check this here. I've got some more videos coming soon on this particular topic, but it's unbelievable. No word of a lie. I hadn't seen this footage until the last few hours. Now, the reason I bring that up is to say that after Tommy Fury went life and death 50-50 with the 135-pounder, Jake Paul's sparring partner, in the post-fight press conference, Tommy Fury said, Oh, well, you know, I was ready in there. I wanted to fight Jake Paul. He didn't want it. He ran away from me. Oh, he couldn't look me in the eye. Oh, I wanted him badly. Me and my team were ready to throw down. All this stuff, yeah? And like I said, I hadn't seen this video, the one of them, of the actual confrontation. I hadn't seen that until a few hours ago. But obviously 2 days ago when the fight happened, I saw Tommy Fury's press conference. Obviously I knew he's gassed out of his mind, but still, I thought it was quite interesting. Because in the post-fight press conference, Tommy Fury was ranting on. Honestly, it's something to truly behold. In true Fury fashion, in true Fury full of lies fashion, Tommy Fury was carrying on like he was just a certified dude like that. As if we hadn't all watched him freeze and choke on blatant TV when his man's Billy Ho Saunders was getting jumped. An elder from your community was getting moshed, and you stood there, Tommy. And you want to talk about what you can do, so we know you're full of rubbish anyway, but check this out. Like I said, in the post-fight press conference, he was saying, yeah, Jake Paul, he couldn't look me in the eye, and I stuck it on him, and he didn't want no parts of me, and his team got in there, and he's lucky his team didn't do this, he's lucky his team didn't do that, because we was about to throw down, and my team don't care. My team's Rago, my team's 100. We don't care if there's 50 of them. He was saying, there was 50, Jake Paul had 50 security officers, but there was only 5 of us, but we were happy to throw down, and we'll take 10 at once, no problem. All this kind of stuff. So like I said, listen, I'd heard all that 2 days ago, and I thought, okay, yes, the Fury's a gas, but I'm just intrigued to see what really happened. 2-2s. 4 or 5 hours ago, I see this footage leaked, and I'm like, wow. This is bad for Tommy Fury. And from what I understand now, you best believe the Furies were on the phone to MTK begging BT not to put it out. That's what I've heard. You best believe. Got some footage, got some evidence coming out later, but honestly, yeah? Like I said, you best believe Tommy Fury was begging his big brother to stop BT putting this footage out. Because the way he was rabbiting on about how hard he was and how on it he was, oops. Anyway, 2-2, the footage gets leaked, as we just seen at the start of this video, and your man Tommy literally does nothing aggressive. He just stands there, like he was when his main man, Tom Saunders, was getting moshed. He just stood there and froze. Yeah? He said Jake Paul couldn't look him in the eye. Now, in this video, you'll see a snapshot. Jake Paul, no word of a lie, doesn't stop looking him in the eye. Until the security get in the way, Jake Paul, and the worst thing is, yeah, the way Tommy Fury explains it as if Jake Paul was super scary, Jake Paul actually walked over to you. Oh, Jake Paul couldn't look me in the eye. Oh, Jake Paul didn't want it. Jake Paul was scared. Jake Paul was hiding behind security. Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen loads of guys hide behind security. I've seen loads of guys in the past do the whole, oh, hold me back routine. This wasn't one of them ones. Jake Paul just finished fighting, yeah? And he went out of his way to come over to you and stick it on you. What are you talking about? You could see it in his eyes. He didn't want none. What, you mean you could see it in his eyes when he actively walked over to you and stuck it all over you? And you just stood there. Yeah? There's an old, like, if you want to see what real roadmen are like, Fury, Tommy, Cookie, listen Cookie, listen Cookie Fury, if you want to know what real roadmen are like, who are actually about it, real on-site dons, because don't get me wrong, listen, there have genuinely been some real on-site boxing dons. Guess what? Mike Tyson. When Mike Tyson was in the pre-fight build-up to Lennox Lewis, guess what happened? Mike Tyson perceived that Lennox Lewis walked on a little too strongly, and guess what? He went. Why? Because that's what true roadmen do. They be first. They don't hang around waiting. Be first is the road mentality. Yeah? Mike Tyson weren't waiting for second signals. He perceived Lennox walked on a little too strongly towards him, and that was it. He was going. He was chewing on Lennox Lewis's leg, no doubt. Yeah? If he can't get a shot off, he's going for the chewer. That's what a true on-site gully don does. Jake, listen. What we know is Lennox Lewis didn't walk nowhere near as closely or as aggressively as the JP did to you. JP got right in your face. Yeah? Stuck it all over you, and you didn't do nothing. Bottom line, you didn't do anything. You just froze. You didn't come out of your little safety square. Jake Paul violated your personal space, and you did nada. But you was talking about how Spartan you was. Seriously, the Furies suffer from a level of serious delusion. I hate the word delusional because people always throw it around, but genuinely, the Furies suffer from some serious genetic delusion. It's been built into their genetic code. They take reality and they see the opposite. The reality of the situation is Jake Paul actively went out of his way to stick it on you. Went out of his way to look deep into your eyes. And what you took from that, what you took from Jake Paul going out of his way to get on top of you and violate your personal space. You didn't violate his. You didn't walk over to him. He walked over to you and looked in your face. You didn't do squat. You didn't do anything. You just stood there and looked like you were about to cry, truth be known. And then you got walked off. That's it. There was no more, no less to it. But the way he was carrying on in the pre-fight, in the post-fight press conference, was like he was proper hard. I couldn't believe it. Well, I could, because I know you're full of rubbish. Like I said, I knew that I'd already seen the footage of you standing there when Tom Saunders, an old man from your squad, was getting moshed. And that's for me, yeah, that is if you see an old man getting moshed, yeah, and you don't do anything, then you know that you ain't built like that. And I've said it before, the Furies are good middle class lads. Yeah, they're good boys. They're good middle class boys from a good home. That's the facts. They ain't how they talk. They ain't how they talk. They are being about. Not even a little bit. Because if they was, he wouldn't have had that. Because we've seen, as I've explained, we've seen what happens when someone's really about it. Mike Tyson weren't going to have that. He's getting straight to work. He's getting straight stuck in. He ain't having no one walking up on him. Jake Paul walked all over you. Yeah? Jake Paul got off all over you. And you just stood there like a cuck. Cucky. Listen, Cucky. Listen, Cucky Fury. Cucky, yeah? You got violated. And I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't even bring it up. If this was just another clip here that came out, it wouldn't make a difference. But the fact that you actually went out of your way to sit there and rant like a real hard ass. Oh, well, you know, we was ready and I'm not going to take it. And not going to take it? What do you mean you're not going to take it? Oh, what, a bit like you weren't going to take? I'm pretty sure, no word of a lie, yeah. If you asked Tommy Fury, and this is the thing about the press, yeah. The press are pathetic. Because number one, why hasn't no one asked Tommy Fury yet? Tommy, you talk about how your team's on site, and how your team don't take nothing, and how your team is happy to fight 10-1 odds in a street fight. Talk about how your team's certified street fighters. Where was all this streetness when your man's Tom Saunders was getting moshed? It's a travesty that no one from the media has questioned that yet. No one. Despite AJ even's putting out there, AJ and Dillian White, two of the biggest fighters in boxing, have actually made it public, so everyone knows about it. Oops, no one questioned it. And again, I wouldn't mind, yeah, if Tommy Fury was quiet and shy, like for example Huey Fury. Huey Fury, I wouldn't care less, because I'm thinking, well, but the way Tommy Fury carries on like a real, it's clearly his dad's son, a muppet, complete muppet. Don't live in reality at all, and it's interesting when you look at the parallels. Look at Peter Fury and look at Huey Fury. Solid people in the main. Then you look at John Fury and his offspring. Just complete muppets. Don't talk about things you're never going to do, Tommy. Your man's Tom Saunders was getting moshed and you didn't do anything. The same way you didn't do nothing when the JP walked up to you and stuck it on you. You just froze again. You don't want no problems. And like the worst thing is, like Jake Paul says, who do you think you're talking to? You just went in there with his sparring partner, 135-pounder, and went life and death with him. Didn't hurt him once. Yeah? That's you. And by the way, he was fully gassed as well. He was using 10 out of 10 effort to get a draw against a 135-pounder. Wow. That's who you are. And you've been doing it, you say, for 50 years. Oh, I've been doing it since I was born. Wow. Is that what since you've been born gets you? Wow. And to end this video, actually, I forgot to talk about the press here. Because, yes, the press haven't mentioned Tom Saunders' Moshgate. But also, when he was up there in the press conference talking about what he was going to do and all this stuff and what he should have done, why didn't none of the press say to him, Tommy, you muppet, where was all this energy when you was in there with a 135-pounder? Where was it? He was talking about how you're going to knock everyone out. How about starting with the man that he was actually in a fight with? But this shows how corrupt. And you check this, yeah, no word of a lie. I even got called out by Dan Raphael. No word of a lie. Check my Twitter. Dan Raphael got mad. And I punked him. And he got shut down as well. Listen, you best believe your man knew I'd be punked. Dan Raphael, when it was over Tommy Fury, he was half shilling for Tommy, and I had to mug him off. And listen, I sent him packing with his tail between his legs. You best believe. Big looking ass. No doubt.